Okay, welcome back everyone to Mangg Souls 2.0, where I had problems last time, didn't I? And they should be fixed this time. I tested out just, a second ago, and it seemed okay. But the problem then is I can't trust it. I've got this trust issue. And so I have to, check it every single time now, Where it's like, okay, it might work, it might not work. I don't really want to make a 45-minute video and find out it doesn't work. So I guess I have to just check it every time, which is, tremendous pain in the ass. All I really did, actually, what happened was I fired it up and I was like, I should do a test. So I did a test and it didn't seem to work. And I was like, okay, that's no good. So I just unplugged my mic and plugged it back in again, did another test. And it recorded it and it worked. And so I guess I could just unplug and replug in my mic every single time I record. But yeah, boy oh boy, it's not easy, I do like the minimal amount of work possible, but even that, it's not just you sit down, you start talking, and boom, there it is. There's some effort involved. Anyways, hopefully it's not an issue, because hopefully you just heard me talk about all that, so it's all good. Going up against the Demon Fire Sage again here. This will be my third attempt. As I mentioned in the last video in my post commentary, it's kind of a tricky fight because he's got range on his attacks and he has the AoEs. So really, we're just going to focus on defense as much as possible. Work the homing soul mass. Try not to have that happen. And as long as we can kind of just do this, keep him, satisfied. I didn't want to use humanity. I don't know why that's still equipped. Get to this. There you go. It's like here. Assuming, okay. Boom, like that. Just do that. Whatever, take the little damage, I don't care. Just stay on target. Do this. There, he did the AoE thing. See, I can't dodge it. There's nothing I can do. There is nothing I don't know what to do about that. How did I ever beat this guy before? There's got to be a way, so. There, I dodged it. No, there, I didn't dodge it. Its range is weird. And I'm probably going to die here. Yeah, not really much for me to say. I've said everything I can about this guy. Just kind of got to concentrate and do it. There, I got hit. You have to look at his tail, closely. There, I dodged it. There, I dodged it. Last homing soul mass. There, I didn't dodge it. I don't care for this fight. I'm not loving it. It's cramped. It's not a small room. He's just so fat and disgusting that it's crowded. So this is kind of shit because I don't have anything else to say about this guy. So this is where I would put in a cool little musical montage of me just kicking his ass on the final attempt. But if you use any music whatsoever ever on YouTube, they arrest you. So We're not going to do that. Yeah. I don't know. See, in these situations, that's where I just talk about random shit. So, I don't know. I played this board game today called Diplomacy. It's a pretty old board game. You might have heard of it. Basically, it's World War I, like in Europe. And so it's up to 7 players, preferably with 7 players. That's how it's meant to be played. And each player controls like a power, you know, a country or whatever. So there's like Austria, Hungary, France, Germany, Italy, Russia, Turkey, England. I think that's 7. Yeah. And so it's a war game. The only major difference is the main part of the game, like the point where the name comes from, it is before every turn, or I guess at the start of every turn, people can meet with one another privately and make plans, or, you know, talk about rumors, talk about what other people are doing. You know, they can share information, they can make up lies, they can betray each other, and, you know, it's just conversation. It's just like, you know, social engineering. You're not bound to anything, you're just talking. And so then once that happens, holy Christ, man, look at that. That's insane. Okay, so so you do all this, and you don't have to meet with anybody if you don't want to, but that's kind of the point of the game. And so this can take like half an hour. I think at one point we were using up like 20 minutes, but usually it was about 15 minutes. And this is pretty much the best part of the game. I thought it was the coolest, because you were just like, you don't know who to trust, and really in the end, you know, there can only be one winner. That's the whole point. So in the end, you can't trust anybody. But the way the game is set up, it's very difficult to take over something like a region on your own. And so you kind of need support from another area, another person. I'm going to get hit by that. Yeah. And so you need to kind of negotiate with people and get support and give support, you know. And so it's kind of it's a very interesting mechanic. It's a cool game. Problem was, well, the first problem was we had 5 people instead of 7. So it's not quite as good that way. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. We had 5 people, so we had to cut out Italy and Germany. Like, they have troops there, but nobody's controlling them, so they can be pretty easily taken. And, let's see. Okay, so we had 5 people. And so we start on the first turn, pretty much everybody has like 3 troops, pretty much. Russia gets 4 because it's just massive. And so you have 3 troops, and there's really not a tremendous amount of negotiation going on. This is where you make like your alliances and stuff. But we really didn't know what was going on. We were just kind of learning the rules as we go. So we didn't really say much. We did our little movements. And I was playing Turkey, which was I didn't want it. It's random picked. And Turkey was like the one I wanted the least, but I got it. I wanted France, because, you know, I'm into all the French shit now, which just doesn't sound like me, does it? But whatever. So I got Turkey, and I was right next to Russia, which was played by Ziggy. And so Ziggy and I quickly formed an alliance, because we're kind of, we were the two that really knew the most about what was going on with this game. And, you know, we've played plenty of risk. We tend to do well at these games, so we could kind of be a juggernaut here if we wanted to be. And so we were right next to each other. We saw this opportunity. We're like, all right, let's join up. And so I think we'd take the elevator. So I think one of the earliest big moments of betrayals was from me. And maybe I didn't want to go to Quelaag's domain, did I? Huh. I don't think I did. It was something like... I'm trying to remember now. There's a lot of little movements in that game. Okay. I was with... Okay, I was trying to move into a place. Yeah, I was trying to move into a country. Or a capital or whatever. I think it was like Venice or Vienna or something like that. And so another player was like right next to it. And I figured he would probably try to move into it. And so if we both try and move in it at the same time with no support, it just cancels it out. Neither of us get it. And so I went and I had like a private discussion with the guy. And I was like, okay, I want to move in here. You know, where do you need some help? And so he wanted to take like Romania. Yeah, he wanted to take Romania, which was right. I think Ziggy either had it or he was going for it, something like that. And so he was like, all right, if you give me support going into Romania, I won't take Vienna or something like that. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. And so we do all that, and we go write down our orders. After all the discussion's over, people have to write down their orders in private to all their troops, you know. And so there's like this little shorthand you do, you know, A Vienna dash Budapest or some shit like that. And so of course I wrote down that I was taking Vienna. My troops were moving into Vienna. And then I was supposed to write, you know, my troops in Budapest support blah 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 moving into Romania. But I did not write that, did I? And so the orders are all revealed at once, and they all happen simultaneously. And so he's like, "All right, my troops are moving into Romania with support from." And he looks at me, and I'm just like, "Nope." And just, you know, betrayal. So. Alright, so I'll talk more about that in a second. I'm kind of getting my ass handed to me. Alright, we gotta get close. There we go. I got the orange charred ring. That's cool. Please get that out of my face. What is this guy trying to do? Oh, he left. Oh, there he is. He kind of stopped being very ferocious, didn't he? He kind of gave up. There you go. That wasn't too bad. Alright, I think we have to equip this now. Okay. So yeah, we were going through, Ziggy and I were talking pretty much every time, discussing our plans. We were sharing pretty freely, which is where I made my big naive move by just completely trusting him. And so obviously me and the guy that I screwed over, our communication was done. That was over. But at some point I let slip something. I didn't let slip. The other 3 players were talking, and I walked over there and I was just like, hey. You know, Ziggy, he's got plans to invade Berlin this turn. And they were like, oh, we already know that. That's old news. But I was just like, you know, okay. But, you know, I'm trying to be helpful here. And I was, you know, I wanted to get in on their good graces, because none of them really trusted me after I made that huge betrayal. That was a big move. And, so I think a little bit after that, one of the other guys comes to me, and I was kind of surprised that he did, and he was like, okay. What the hell did he say to me? Okay, he was basically like a liaison for the guy that I screwed over, because the guy that I screwed over didn't want to talk to me, but this other guy was, he needed some help, you know, things needed to be done, so I was in a position of power. Because I was doing pretty well for myself, because I was allied with Ziggy completely, and so Ziggy just left me untouched. And so he's like, okay, if you... I can't lock on. Okay, there I go. Oh, this is a bad move. Yeah, this was dumb. This was dumb. Ah. It's very orange on screen right now, in case you can't tell. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay. So he was like, all right. You know, you might, you know, we might be able to work something in here. You know, if you can help us, we might help you. They wanted me to betray Ziggy, of course, because they saw how powerful he could become. He had Russia, you know, Russia was a powerhouse, and he was growing quickly, especially with my help. We were crushing Austria-Hungary, and he was quickly moving into Germany. And so I was like, you know, I'm not going to betray Ziggy, but, you know, I could definitely, you know, share some information, perhaps. And so he's like, all right, if you support the other guy, the guy that I betrayed, if you support the guy moving into Romania again, he'll let you have Venice. I think it was Venice then. And so I'm like, and Ziggy owned Romania at the time. So I was going up against Ziggy. I would be kind of betraying him by supporting another guy's movement into his, so he could take over Romania. This is probably all confusing. The game is much more confusing. Basically, he was asking me to kind of betray Ziggy, very slightly. Romania did not matter that much. And in order for me to get Venice, which I wanted to take Italy. And I was like, all right, I could probably do that. You know, it doesn't mean much. And so immediately after that, I went and I met with Ziggy. And I was like, he wants me to support him taking Romania. Like, I just told him. And he's like, oh, interesting. And he's like, well, I told him, like, this way I could get Venice. I have a foothold in Italy. And he's like, all right, you could do that. I think I could cover that. Because he had troops all around it that he could, fight it off. Even with my support, he could still handle it. So I hold up my end of the bargain because I still offer my support, but Ziggy doesn't lose anything for it. So it was kind of a win-win. And so that's what happened. And the guy that I betrayed, the things played out. Nothing really happened. He didn't get Romania, but he was like, oh, thanks anyways, for the support. They later found out that I did tell Ziggy, and so they were quite angry about that. But the problem was, basically, the guy that I betrayed, he started as Austria-Hungary, and he started right next to me and Ziggy. He started right next to Turkey and Russia. And so he just got screwed intensely, especially because he didn't really know how to play. He didn't know what was going on at all. And so I was like the first person to meet with him, and I betrayed him instantly, which just wrecked him. And just... So pretty soon he was down to just a couple troops. He was kicked out of Austria-Hungary. I owned pretty much all of it. He was really screwed. So he kind of pretty much gave up on the game. And my other friend who got France, he didn't really know what was going on either. And so he was like, at some point he was just like, yeah, I've given up on winning. I just kind of want to just cause trouble. And so he was kind of meeting with everybody and just spreading shit around. And so he stopped really being aggressive or anything like that. And so things were plugging along. Another player was Ziggy's fiance. And I should have seen this coming. I think I did, pretty much. That the two of them were in an alliance from the absolute start and were never going to betray each other. Ever. Like, one person has to own more than half of the countries, or more than half of the supply centers on the map in order to win. 18 out of 34. But if two or more parties come to an agreement, they sign a treaty, it can end in a draw. And I was like, that's what's going to happen. They're going to sign a treaty, and they're just going to both win together, because that's what you do. Because this game is kind of designed to just ruin relationships and friendships. And so they're not going to let this game come between the two of them. And so they never betrayed each other ever. They were together from the start. And so, of course, Ziggy betrayed me. Just swooped in right behind me and took over Turkey. And so at that point, two of the members of the game were not doing any meetings. They didn't really care anymore. They kind of given up. I had been betrayed by Ziggy, and it was like, okay, he's not going to betray his fiance. They pretty much had stopped meeting too, because they knew exactly what they were doing every turn. And so I was like, okay, Ziggy betrayed me. The other two aren't doing anything. The other guy had Austria-Hungary had one battleship left that was just floating out there he wasn't doing anything with. They were done. I'm not going to meet with Ziggy's fiance. It's pointless because they're in an alliance. So she's just going to tell him everything. So the game was pretty much done at that point. The three of us had given up for Ziggy and his fiance to just kind of sweep the board. And so this is kind of a longer story than I thought it would be. Taking up this video. See, this is what happened. And so I think the game is... It was very fun and entertaining. I really enjoyed it when we were doing all the little meetings and stuff. And we were making these rumors and the backstabbings and just plans and alliances and all that stuff. That was really cool. It was great. Once that stopped happening and, people had kind of given up and shit like that, it was a very, very boring war game that I really had no interest in. And so part of the problem was having 5 out of the 7. Another problem was having 2 out of the 5 that weren't completely invested in the game. Because one just got completely screwed right away. And another problem, I guess, would be the fact that Ziggy and his fiance would never betray each other no matter what. Which is kind of lame when you have, you know, two people that do that. Like, if it came down to it, like Ziggy and I, if we had kept up I was going to keep up the alliance till it was just the two of us. And then, obviously, once it was just two of us, we would do our little power struggle until there was one winner. That's what I had planned. That's what I would prefer. But for them, I don't think they would ever do that. Maybe, I don't know. But, yeah. Once the meetings stop, not very fun. But I think with 7 people that really love that kind of social thing going on, it could be a very cool game. It takes a while to play, though. It's definitely a time investment. We spent about, I don't know, like 6 hours? At least 5 hours? And, you know, that was with 5 people, 3 of them pretty much having given up. Alright, I hate this boss. I really do. You know I do. Remember? Remember when things fall? The ground falls? Remember when the ground falls? It's gonna happen. It always happens. Or it does not happen yet. Maybe it doesn't happen yet. I don't know. Oh my god. This is not pleasant with the spells. There it is. Alright, so now bad stuff starts happening. Oh, jeez. I guess the problem was my own... Yeah, see? This is why nobody likes this shit. The problem was my own naivete, you know, where I just blindly trusted Ziggy and he would never betray me until the end, you know. I think for a more volatile group, that game could cause so many problems. Because when I just did that little backstab move that really wasn't that huge right at the start, just all of them were just like, what the hell, man? Like, like I had literally stabbed him in the back. Like, it was terrible. It was the worst thing I ever could have done. None of them liked me. The whole rest of the game, they were pretty much just like, let's burn Turkey to the ground. Like, it was terrible. So I can definitely see how it could cause problems. But yeah, it was very different because of the meeting thing. That doesn't really happen. You know, it's very abstract. There's no rules for it. You're just talking to each other. I like that. But you know, we could play Risk and do stuff like that. You know, it's not quite the same since the game is more diplomacy is more dependent on, you know, requiring support, whereas in Risk you could kind of go solo if you're really good and lucky and just handle yourself. But my strategy for Risk is always to go... I always used to join up with this one other guy. We'd always form an alliance. And it started out as a secret alliance, but after a while everybody knew we always teamed up. And we would always go up against Ziggy because he's always the best at this shit. You know, he always plays Civilization games. He always plays StarCraft. He's a very tactical strategy guy. So he's always the enemy. I shouldn't have trusted to go up against him because it only makes sense that he would betray me. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say about Diplomacy. It was a fun experience overall, but it was much... Oh my god, I suck at this. It was much more fun at the start than at the end. See, again, if I could start at the beginning of this fight, just going down the ramp right here, great, awesome, just get this done with. But running through here every time, like, come on, man. Nobody wants to do this shit. So yeah, I think like 5 people that have kind of a casual interest in war games, Risk is probably better. It's more high octane, I guess. It's more intense. It's more exciting, with the everybody crowding around when 2 people are doing some big, fighting thing with all the dice rolls, 40 troops versus 40 troops. It can get very intense. It's a lot more exciting that way. But, if you got 7 people that like that really social aspect, they like, doing their little secret meetings and the betrayals and the negotiations, it's definitely very cool. And that's why it stood the test of time for so long. It's been around for like 40-some years. I think that's about it. I don't think I can go much more about that game. Alright, so we need to... I think I've had this problem every time I go up against this boss. I need to bait out that first swing he does over here and then run past it. Because otherwise I just get knocked into that hole. So... Dude... Bait that. Nope. Shit. Let's hold off a second. Wait. Whoa. Watch out! Oh my god. I don't have anything else to talk about, game. Why you do this to me? I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's like, this is a boss, okay, this is a boss where eventually you'll get it. Like, eventually you'll do this. This is not really skill involved in it. This is a skillless boss. I think that's a good way to describe it. It's a trial and error boss, which is just lame. That's not what you want. Like, eventually, all the floor that's gonna fall out, falls out. You're gonna know the route you have to take. You're gonna know when you have to bait the attack so you can run past it. You're gonna knock down the one thing. You're gonna knock down the other thing. You're eventually gonna make the little jump to get to the middle section. You're gonna go down there and you're gonna win. And it's just gonna happen at some point. It's not gonna be a very fun trip, but you'll get it. My character even seems bored when he's going down this ramp. Oh, she. My bad. Ugh. Forgot about that one. Ow. Except that floor didn't fall out. Okay, maybe that changes. Maybe it's not a trial and error boss. Well, I guess it's the same spot every time. There, see, we got to this one. Huzzah. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Whoa, I don't remember that shit. Alright, so the middle floor there drops out. Holy crap. Huh, that's a cool attack. And we have to make a jump. I'm almost certain you have to jump. Alright, there we go. We win. Oh man, so cool. I think you can still die down here. As evidence right there! Hey! What the hell, man? Give me a break. You know, when people are looking to try Let's Playing for the first time and doing commentary and all that, people tell them, well, don't complain when you're playing. Like, nobody likes to hear that. And they're probably right. I don't think anybody likes to hear anybody complain. But I don't know if I could... See, I don't think I could do that. That would be like suppressing who I am. And that's probably why I don't get many viewers. Is because I am a chronic complainer. But that's just how I am. That's what's going on in my head. I heard that a lot when I was doing my Skyrim thing. Where people are like, you know, he just says, like, he never stops talking, he just goes on and on about whatever, you know. He doesn't really think about it. And that's right, that's exactly what that's my style. It's like stream of consciousness, I think is the term. And so, when any normal person is playing shit, they tend to complain in their head. Like, you're telling me if you are playing this game, you're fighting Bed of Chaos, and shit like that is happening, you really would just be like, oh, alright, I can do better next time. No, you're going to be dropping F-bombs and be like, what is this shitty, you know, you're going to say all sorts of stuff. Now, I try to keep the expletives to a low, but, you know, I just say what I'm thinking, and that's, what I'm thinking is this is a shitty boss, so. Yup. It's a cool looking boss, I guess. But that does not grant it reprieve. Oh my god. Oh my... You want to run back there? Because I do. I'm out, man. I don't want to fill this with just random discussions. I hate that. But I hate editing too, so... I guess you guys must enjoy this, because I get views. I get some likes, so... I mean, maybe not you don't enjoy this specifically, but I guess you guys don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. I'm not sure if I could ever do any playthrough of this game without having trouble on the Bed of Chaos. The Bed of Chaos has to be a nightmare for, like, speedrunners. I've never watched a Dark Souls speedrun that didn't glitch through with the Lord Vessel or some shit. Which is kind of lame. I would never speedrun this game. There's just way too many variables. And I'm not that good. Like, I think 90% of the speedruns of this game depend on getting to Dark Route gardens or whatever, the forest, killing the Black Knight there down by the Hydra, and getting the Black Knight halberd. And so you do all that, you do all the beginning every time, the same stuff, and if you don't get the halberd there, you do it over, you start over. That's how a speedrun of Dark Souls goes. And it's a small chance to get it. If you didn't know, it's not a huge chance. All right, we need to bait this out. All right, now go. Oh my god! I don't care if I have to use all my Estus. Oh my god! It's the worst thing in the game. Yes, I'm sure I said something else is the worst thing in the game. No, Bed of Chaos is always the worst. I can't do it. I can do it. I just hate it. And I'm complaining. Damn right I'm complaining. This thing's god-awful. You know, people said, you're like, oh no, they're gonna put an easy mode into Dark Souls 2. That ruins it. And yeah, there shouldn't be an easy mode, but there should be a button that lets you skip shitty-ass bosses designed by some shitty-ass side team that was like, oh, we got this Bed of Chaos. It's an interesting, unique boss. And they're like, oh, great, throw it in. Boom, done. Oh, so, you know, the character doesn't actually have to, like, you know, do any damage or anything. He just has to do some really weird kind of platforming things while he's constantly attacked by this really shitty boss. That's right. That's exactly what he has to do. And so, there's not a tremendous amount of skill involved. It's just kind of attrition. That's exactly what it is, yeah. Alright, great. Do it. Done. Like this, it's a Saturday night. I'm sitting in my basement trying to get past the Bed of Chaos. And I have to talk about it while I do it. Because that's what I do. That's my hobby. This is my hobby. This is my hobby. Alright, so he's going to do the weird shitty thing. Right? Okay, he does that. I don't care about that. I care about this. Do this. No, he hit me. I don't care. Get up. Do it. Oh my god, did he kill... There's just... Like... I can't even complain anymore. This is my second playthrough of this game that I've done commentary for. I guarantee you could go back to Mangg Souls, the original. You can go back to when I was fighting the Bed of Chaos and hear the exact same things I'm saying right now. So, no, I've done all this, but this is deja freaking vu right now, man. My throat's just getting parched and my lips are dry. Everything is just terrible. This is my last attempt for this video. If I don't get at this, then it has to be the start of the next video. I should be able to. Should be able to do this. You know what would be the real just final nail in the coffin, or I guess the final kick in the ribs? I don't know. Would be, I do all this, I die here, I give up for this video, I go to render it or whatever, and there's no commentary. I would just, that would be like the end of this run. I would just say I'm done. I don't give a shit. I'll see you in Dark Souls 2. I don't even know what to do here. What's my strategy? Do I even have a strategy? He's just gonna do that shit, which hits me. He's gonna do his bullshit attack here. Oh, okay, this might be my chance. Final chance at victory. Oh my god!